Welcome back, and boy, do we have a match for you coming up here. We got FaZe taking on Cloud9 here in the winners bracket semifinals.
Yeah, what a series this is about to be. Renegade versus Cloud9. That's an unbelievable matchup. I mean,
it's one of those matchups we've been looking to see. We've obviously been wanting to see, FaZe versus United at some point later, but this is one of those two kind of grudge matches that we've been looking for. Taking a quick look at the series layout, though, because we want to get in this match as soon as possible. We got Strongholds Livefire, Slayer Recharge, CTF Bazaar, followed by Oddball Streets, and Slayer on Livefire if we go to a hopeful Game 5.
Now, I know Cloud9 lost Strongholds on Livefire yesterday when they played United. They look like a completely different team this time around today on Saturday. It's late here tonight. FaZe Clan have looked good all weekend long, Dave. As you take a look at this series layout, where are you leaning as far as who you're thinking is going to take this whole thing?
I mean, it's weird because we get these fast-paced modes by these slower games. You know, like Strongholds Livefire and Oddball Streets are real quick, and then Slayer Recharge and CTF Bazaar, you can really pump the brakes a bit. But we are jumping right into it. No brake pumping anymore. We're kicking off with King Nick from the FaZe clan, who's going to jump right into the B Stronghold.
Right into the Stronghold. No deaths in this game. And King Nick already starting to score points. Efficiency, the name of the game for FaZe Clan early on. And that's a phenomenal start for them. But as I say that, A looks like it's going to be recaptured on the side of Cloud9. Falcated on the flank here as he's trying to impact the battle for Overshield. He's able to find one. And as two members of Cloud9 are down, Overshield comes up. And that's FaZe Clan's ticket to success.
And look at that, just little cat and mouse there, especially that Falcated, who was just swirling around tower, just knowing how key a position that was going to be. Yeah, a large rat taking on the cat there. But great play there by Falcated and the FaZe clan to take over that position and get control of the OS. But while they did that, during this time, Cloud9's been putting points on the board.
Yeah, Cloud9 do have strongholds, but this Overshield's still intact. Spartan under heavy pressure. There are multiple players around him. The heat wave's an easy way to release some of that pressure, though. Finds the first kill, able to relocate, play his life. Two members from Cloud9 go down, and you have to think FaZe Clan have their eyes and their hopes set on B.
And they do indeed. Now, do they try to force and get this trip cap, or are they just going to try to hold this two stronghold setup all the way across the map? Generally, A and C can be a little difficult to hold for an extended period of time, and somehow FaZe getting a trip cap, taking out all those members of Cloud9, and they're going to need to wake up if they're going to get in this series.
Yeah, Cloud9, this is going to be a very interesting storyline throughout this weekend. They look so strong against Sentinels. They look so weak against United yesterday, though, and it's a matter of consistency for me that I need to see for them to take on continuous top teams in the North American region, on the world stage, even here at Orlando. And right now, FaZe giving them everything they can handle, 61-12, and the slay's heavily in the side of FaZe as well.
Yeah, and this is absolutely late as far as tournament hours go. Yeah. I would say prime as far as gamer hours go. That is absolutely right. They do last bingo at 9 p.m. We do dinner at 7 p.m. and you know, right now I'd usually be calling it a night, but like I said, these are prime gaming hours. Most of these gamers, I would say, are scrimming later in the evenings when they're at home. But like I said, definitely late for a tournament.
Absolutely. You got to find our way, though. No matter what the excuse, no matter what time of day, early, late, players got to find a way. You got to figure it out, because at the end of the day, you're still find yourself in this situation. Weather the storm. And right now, Cloud9 trying to weather the storm. They have BNC under their control. A couple of kills would be massive for them. Bound kicks it off with two of them. The repulsor allows Penguin to steal the kill, but the damage is done. 3 go down for FaZe, and Bound, if he can stay alive and continue to score points, FaZe and Cloud9 will be very close to a tie game here momentarily.
I really got to highlight that Bound and Renegade have both been playing spectacular this event. I feel like looking at the NA Super, both of them look a little shaky. Didn't really hit their full comfort zone with their new rosters.
Yeah, we'll give Renegade the benefit of the doubt. It's been a team change, and ever since the team changes and the pickup of King Nick, it's been an excellent performance out of FaZe Clan, contending with the likes of Optic Gaming, Sentinels Online. That's not easy to do, but FaZe Clan have done it. Cloud9, however, have not looked great online, but they never really were. They don't practice a ton. Bound starting to find his rhythm, though, and this is something I highlighted earlier in the day, Dave, was think about it. This is Bound's first year as a professional player. First couple of lands. You know, you got to get some experience under your belt, what the live crowd feels like, what the main stage feels like, what some of these big moments actually feel like in order to really capitalize on the moment, right? So
that's true. Yeah, there's so many times where you're not going to really hit your comfortability zone or your stride because each tournament's a new experience for you. Those first events, those first years or so.
I mean, it took Aries 15 years to get comfortable.
Some say he's still getting comfortable to this day. But look at this, still a lot of back and forth. And right here, we are seeing 2 go down for FaZe Clan. This could be Cloud9's chance. Even though they have 2 captures against them, this could be their chance to really turn this into a 2 cap, maybe even a triple cap. You always see a couple kills go down, and then you see how that cascades later in the round because of that numbers advantage. So you won't see the cap right away, but there it is, the double cap, like I said, for Cloud9.
If there were questions of Cloud9's consistency, maybe it was just a poor performance on Friday we need to remove from our heads, because ever since I said the statement, Cloud9 have picked it up. They have taken the lead. They control A and C. They're looking to push the trip cap as well. And Eco with the rest of his overshield now on a killing spree is starting to heat up when Cloud9 needed it most.
Kind of called it. I said they were going to dub cap. They turned their trip cap. I mean, it just really shows these teams know how to push that numbers advantage, especially someone like Cloud9. Other thing we kind of take for granted is we're like, oh yeah, Cloud9, we'll see how they place this one. So far throughout lands, they haven't placed out of top 2. Give credit where it's due.
Yeah, absolutely. Do not forget who these kids are. World champions in 2018, and Eco and Stellar. They're joined by Penguin, one of the best players on the scene, and then Bound with his rookie performance, his rookie year. It's been something special to watch the individual skill that this guy plays with. So no surprise that when this roster gets going downhill, that they go down fast and they take advantage of every opportunity they have. FaZe Clan, in the meantime, trying to rebound. Do have control of A, need to find some more slays, and unfortunately, it feels like Cloud9 are able to continuously get the trades they need in order to continue to score.
Yeah, Penguin nading, or I believe repulsing his old teammate Renegade off the map, as we just saw there from King Nick's POV. Just a little, you know, each little fight that these players are getting in,
it's personal.
It is personal. Anytime you either have to drop a player or a player leaves your team,
oh, yeah,
you take that personally. You start to say, all right, like, how else am I, you know, you can't just be fully removed from that decision and try to look at fully logical. It is a very emotional moment for these players.
Let me tell you, by the end of my career, just about every match became personal for one reason or another.
You're like, there were more bridges burned than standing by the end of my time. Let me tell you what.
It's Clutch Island. That's what it became.
Well, looking at the score, it is absolutely getting out of hand. Keep in mind, we saw FaZe jumping off to a really early start. They had about a 30-point lead out the gates, and this has been nothing but Cloud9 lead from there on out. But more impressively, it hasn't been massive outslaying. It's been a lot of trades where Cloud9 are getting the kills, getting the scores, and look at that trip cap. This is looking over here for FaZe Clan on this fast game 1.
A couple of trip caps go a long way, especially when you get the slays behind it. That's what they've been able to do. We saw the Eco killing spree, but now taking a look at the stats, 13, 15, 10, 10. Everybody on Cloud9 steps up in the middle of game 1, and they continue the momentum from their series against Sentinels. Cloud9 looking as strong as ever, and now all of a sudden Renegade's starting to question decisions.
Yeah, I mean, that is such a tough position to be in. You know, he's rallying his team. Renegade's still very hopeful for the series, but anytime those little moments of doubt start to creep in, it is the worst feeling ever.
Oh, it's so difficult. And I mean, he's a veteran. I'm sure this is going to be a long series. If game 1 showed us anything, it's that Cloud9's here to play. Now we need to see a response from FaZe and the Slayer in order to see this series really go underway, because going down 2-0 to Cloud9, we saw Sentinels and how strong of a team they are try to fight back. It's just too deep of a hole. You're asking too much of your team to try and reverse sweep a team like Cloud9. I think that when they get that lead, they almost always close the door.
That is true. Absolutely true. So taking a look quick again at the series layout. Game number 2 is going to be Slayer on Recharge, followed by CTF and Bazaar. And both of these next 2 game modes, it can be slowed down a bit. Now, normally, I would say, oh, hey, that's different from game 1, which was a much faster paced thing. That's got to favor the other team, right? I don't know if I feel that way. I actually feel when it slows down a bit, kind of favors Cloud9. They have this cohesion amongst these 3 members in their squad. And watching them with Bound earlier, they were just really clinical when they were making some pushes on maps like Streets.
I think the focus has got to come down to the shock rifle. What Stellar was able to do to Sentinels earlier today with that weapon is illegal, and Most states here. Apparently, Florida, the gun laws are a little bit looser, we all know. Stellar still able to keep his tournament run going, and it's a phenomenal opportunity for him to potentially get that weapon, put it to use, get his team up 2-0 in a massive series for top 3. On the opposite side, though, we know how lethal Renegade can be with the same shock rifle.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that I always go back and think about for Renegade is the times that he was playing with Cloud9, I see so many highlight clips from him on recharge. And there just be these standoff scenarios that he somehow grapples in, kills somebody, shock rifles a second person. It's just like he was a monster. And look at that out BR there by Penguin, taking out Sparty McFly. Kills trading left and right here for a exactly tie game.
You want to know the best thing about Penguin?
What?
I talked to him right after his Sentinel series. I said, you know what? Yesterday, you played terrible. He said, yeah, I did. I got it. You know what? And that series against Sentinel right there, that was the best I've seen you play in a long time. He goes, I know. Great
so you've
awareness.
seen the best and the worst of the Penguin so far this weekend.
It's just great awareness. He's able to say, hey, it's on me when we lose. When I play like that, we're not going to win. But when I play like I did against Sentinels, I'm going to give this Cloud9 roster everything they need. Speaking of giving their team everything they need, though, Renegade 2-0 and run right now, but more importantly, shock rifle in hand. It's a 1-kill lead for FaZe Clan here at the start, and we'll see if Renegade can extend it with a couple of shots here as he is falling under pressure from Cloud9.
And look at this, fighting his replacement, gets a reversal on Bound, lays a little more damage, but Penguin coming in the support over at Long Haul, getting that kill and bringing the shock rifle back to the Cloud9 side.
Look at the technical side of Renegade there. The little sidestep back to make Bound melee first, and then he has the advantage. It was perfectly done. He did get the kill, unfortunately. He was taken down, and ever since, it's been all Cloud9. The pressure on the FaZe Clan of the respawners over towards the elevator where they've been deleted. Now they're flipping the map over towards blue. You see 2 members of FaZe Clan. Now all of FaZe Clan is going to be stuck at blue. A difficult situation to try and deal with, Dave, because you have such little space, and as camouflage is coming up, you really need that space to play around.
Yeah, let's take a quick snapshot of this time. It's the 3-kill lead here for Cloud9 as this game is slowed down. They have shock rifle, camos coming up. Let's see which team plays better as it slowed down. And a bit surprising here that Renegade, seemingly uncontested, was able to get this camo, even though the opposing team had shock rifle.
Here comes Renegade with camo. Could be a game-changing opportunity in front of him. How's he choose to play it? Trigger discipline on the first player. He's found Bound. Chooses to shoot as his teammate comes in through catwalk. Great teamwork out of the FaZe Clan there. Now they know these players are stuck in pipes. It's a matter of how do you get in there and take them down. Unfortunately, the entry frag does not come through. Great job by Cloud9 to snip him out. They take down Renegade. They create an opportunity to release some of the pressure we were about to see from FaZe.
Yeah, and over those last 48 seconds, we've only seen 3 kills go back and forth. So it's really, you know, it's still a little close in favor of FaZe Clan during that little exchange, but overall the game slowed down, and Spartan winning those huge massive battles in the pipes. That's exactly what you want to see during the clutch time.
Big kills. I asked Spartan to step up today. I didn't think he gave this FaZe roster everything that he was capable of in the series they lost earlier this tournament, but I think he's got something well planned for us, and honestly, one of the best shock rifle players on the planet. It's great for FaZe Clan members to see this weapon in his hands. Can he locate any members of Cloud9 so far? Nobody home, and maybe some information is all Sparty's able to get here, but you really want to keep this at a snail's pace and allow Spartan to do his thing. He will eventually find a pick.
Yeah, this game has slowed down so much. Keep in mind, also look at Spartan's equipment. He has 5 grapples in his back pocket. He is going to be traveling all around this map whenever he needs to. And there it is. Look at melee is traded back and forth. Bound going to come out ahead, get another kill and the grapples, and just trying to stay alive. Look how slippery he is around this elevator. He got picked up right there, but there are so many other situations where Bound, so well known for his movement, that he just ducks and dives and makes players take those extra few seconds to get that kill on him.
And that was something he was doing so well against Sentinels on this very map that allowed Cloud9 to really take a significant lead in the series back in the quarterfinals. But now as the game once again slows down, it's just 3 kills. Still in favor of FaZe.
In favor of FaZe now. Previously was in favor of Cloud9, so somehow they've been able to close that gap and garnish a 3-kill lead of their own. So I guess I'm wrong, at least off the start of this, by saying, hey, when it slows down, it must favor Cloud9, but it feels like during those little engagements after a neutral battle, FaZe, you know, push on the gas, charge out, get the kills.
No standout performances as of yet, but you can almost guarantee that's going to change as these stalemates typically benefit the team with the shock rifle. These players are so cold. Give them an opportunity, they'll take your head off with it. Just a matter of who currently owns the weapon. I'm assuming it's going to be a member on FaZe, considering they do have pipes control and elevator on lock. And it's up to Cloud9 to try and it's up to Cloud9 to try and figure out how they want to break this setup.
And it's actually up, so I wonder if they're just baiting it there. Stellar picking off Renegade, somehow Bound killing off King Nick, and the pressure is on. Cloud9 have a 4v2. They're charging because they want these kills and they want that shock rifle. But the damage has been done. I feel like the push has been stopped as we now have Bound and Stellar both taken out.
Yeah, I'd say it's a successful push for Cloud9 here. The lead, it's not really changed. It's a 1 kill in favor of FaZe, but the map control now heavily in the favor of Cloud9. Unfortunately, they're starting to continue to lose members, but Stellar rips the head off a Renegade into pipes, and now he's found himself that shock rifle. And this is exactly where Cloud9 fans want to be. Now that they have map control, they have Stellar with the shock, and we've seen this movie once before today.
We saw it earlier today. We're getting a rerun now, but it's an interesting change of pace from how this Cloud9 roster used to operate. This used to be a situation that Stellar would quick go find Renegade, drop that shock rifle for him, and then be the supporting role. But Stellar and all these players on Cloud9 in their own right, incredible shots. So we're gonna have to see what Stellar can do during the standoff because like I said, he normally was not this sniper role if you had to classify him in previous times.
The battle for camo right now is the big question for me. What's going on down there? Stellar checks long haul. Ends up being a very successful push for FaZe. He does throw that shock rifle off the map. Camo gets deleted by Bound. A phenomenal kill by him. Maybe a little bit better of a play by Sparty could have been made, but no time to think on that as he's coming off respawn. 29-33. FaZe Clan continuing to figure out ways to trade successfully. And if this pace continues without Cloud9's ability to close the distance at any point, we're going to be looking at a tied-up series here momentarily.
Yeah, Eco putting the pressure on at elevators, realizing there's so many members of FaZe over in that spot. Felt like he could poke out and do a little more damage, but just caught off guard.
Such a big play by Sparty there. I love what he did. He was getting pressured from pipes and bottom mangler spawn. Sparty chooses to push out of the doorway so that he doesn't have a sight line being given up by those pipes players. He's able to play his life perfectly, and because of it, he stays alive.
I've always heard the saying, backing an animal into a corner, and that's Spartan the dog there, and he's gonna fight his way out every single time. Gets his way over towards BR, like you said, and right there, creating that opening for FaZe.
Yeah, still a 4-kill lead. 4 minutes and 30 on the clock. Not really a factor yet, Dave, but as slow as this game has turned into in some of its moments, as these kills continue to go back and forth, eventually Cloud9 are going to have to slow it down to a snail's pace in order to successfully get some trades for some kills without trading them back.
Yeah, I think the part that I'm really expecting to see here from Cloud9 a bit more is some contestion, some successful contestion on this camo. And as the camo's about to come up, Cloud9 rotates over towards the battle rifle side, gets a kill, and now they have perfect positioning for this camo. Look at this, they dive into the pit. Stellar is able to grab it and waits. He doesn't want to just get picked off right away with it and wants one of his teammates since he has teammates nearby, but it does not matter. Spartan, last man alive, kills the camo, gets a second kill on Stellar, and is still alive in the bottom center.
The big thing is that Spartan did not know that camo was not activated. Camo is still down on the Newer spawn, and I do believe Cloud9 will have that information. FaZe Clan do not, and it's just a matter of who will go around there first. Spartan looks like he's made his way over towards that area, but still not sure where that camo has ended up. Kills back and forth, assuming it's been traded at this point, but surely it's not on the ground, still in that area.
Yeah, we will have to find out later if we see him on camo, but I have a feeling we might not because that might just be gone. Although during those exchanges, we do see FaZe once again with this 3-kill lead, and they're holding on to it. Every single time Cloud9 gets a couple kills, FaZe answers right back.
Yeah, what a phenomenal plasma pistol shot that was before going down as well, right? You're no shield if a player's dropping on you. To be able to just knock that player to no shield, get a melee or a plasma pistol, that's massive because it's a kill traded out immediately and a kill that should not have been traded out. Bound picks up a massive kill there, bottom elevator, to try and make the difference in the score, but unfortunately, once again, FaZe Clan do such a good job of capitalizing on the distraction and the damage.
Renegade taking out Penguin there, and you almost have to wonder, was that an over challenge from Penguin? He had his teammate Stellar over there to help a little bit later. Sometimes you can't overthink fights like that, but sometimes you get one of your old teammates in there, you maybe get a little tunnel vision, maybe you want to fish them off yourself.
One more kill to go, and FaZe Clan will tie the series up. The winners bracket semi-finals, the match for top 3 here tonight, is tied up 1-1, and everyone wants this to go to the distance. Everyone wants to see what will happen in a game 5 with Renegade versus his old team. The FaZe Clan members, you know, they want more out of their year as well, because in all honesty, this would be their best placing at a LAN event.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they've always had these magical rosters that didn't really go the distance. So now is their time. Clearly, this is a completely different functioning roster from what we saw at NA Super.
Yeah.
Like, it's weird. You can sometimes just swap that one player, and it's the difference maker.
And sometimes it's not even about, like, if that player was playing poorly or not. It's just a play style difference. It's maybe a communication difference. You just gel with different people. Chemistry is a real thing, ladies and gentlemen, and FaZe Clan have the chemistry to tie this series up. 1-1, 50-45 as we take a look at the stats from Game 2. It was Sparty McFlies leading the kills, 15, 13, and 7 assists to match.
And looking over at the Cloud9 side, Penguin going the most positive on his team with a 13, 10, and 8 performance.
Not the stellar performance we've seen from Stellar so far today, but you can almost guarantee he's going to back up, rebound. And if he does, it's going to be on Bizarre CTF for Game 3, a map that, honestly, I'm not sure Cloud9 are big fans of. After talking to them a little bit, they said they weren't really happy with Bizarre CTF falling in one of their series earlier today, or maybe earlier yesterday in pool play. That was important, but I mean, no time to have a bad game type, especially not in the winners bracket semifinals. You got to be good at everything, and
you can't be considered like one of the top 2 teams in the world or top 3 teams in the world and be like, oh, well, anytime we see that one, we consider that a loss. It's like, that doesn't happen this level. Obviously, it's not their preference, but they are still going to be very strong here, especially in objective mode versus FaZe. I feel like FaZe, if anything, they show they have the slaying power.
Yeah.
Now, do they have the objective efficiency with this team?
Well, I asked that question in the Grunt E-United Classic last weekend. Was FaZe going to be able to play well on this specific game type? FaZe came out and dominated this game type, and I loved the fact that I saw that, because Bizarre CTF is one of those game modes, Dave, where you have to have so much structure in order to get the caps punched in. The big thing for me was the meta completely shifted last week, and I have not seen a Bizarre CTF yet as of this tournament on broadcast. But let me tell you, the flags are being ran through the brew grenades into the shotgun just about every time by this FaZe roster. They have so much success when they're able to do so.
Yeah, we will see if that continues to hold true here, but what we are going to see on Bizarre, without a doubt, is a lot of different battles in a few different segments of the map. You're going to have to play defensive on your side through the palms and the BR side. There's going to be battles in the center near the market, and then also on the opposing side. If you want to go for your own sort of flag cap, you need to take over that palm and BR side and remove those opponents.
Barty's been sitting in this corner for way too long. Stellar's not going to expect him to be there, and because of it, he gets a free kill on the Stellar, pushing through those trenches, and that was a phenomenal play by Sparty. You baited his team, but when you bait your team and it works out, you get that kill. Unfortunately, the rest of FaZe not able to pick up their kills, and with that, the flag now on the move in Bounce hands is going to go bottom middle, directly through the double doors here, and there are a couple of overextenders that Cloud9 are going to have to deal with, and we'll see if they can get the slays.
New round of slaying. Bound, very wise, backs down for a moment, but the damage has been done. 2 members for Cloud9 down. Penguin trying to fight out of the trees, but I think that flag's getting recubbed, and FaZe have an opportunity for a counter cap of their own. In fact, Renegade's already out in the center of the market, trying to sweep out his old teammates.
Yeah, this is a big difference. When FaZe is grabbing this flag and running it, look how many kills Renegade's been able to get. He's already killed 3. Bound's the last player alive. Renegade finds a 4th. There's another player his side, Rockets. Renegade's going to kill 5 players while this flag is being ran. It's a triple kill, killing spree for Renegade. He's got another one in front of him. This is absolutely absurd what he's doing. 7-1-2, and guarantees his team the early lead here on Bizarre.
And where is this flag being grabbed from? Renegade has done so much. He's literally killed 4 or 5 players. I mean, I still fully expect this to be grabbed and capped, but I expect to be grabbed and capped 10 seconds ago.
Yeah, Renegade did too. But Spartan now with flag on the move, a couple more kills to just guarantee the FaZe Clan cap. A punctuation on Renegade's absolute phenomenal performance. 9-2-2 to start this one off, and did everything for FaZe to get that one punched in.
And yes, FaZe are in the lead. FaZe are looking fantastic. However, I do have worries and concerns if it takes something like that to get a flag across the line.
I don't worry if you got Renegade on your team, because apparently he's capable of it.
Capable of it, but how many times? I mean, Cloud9 know him better than anyone else. They know his playstyle, his tendencies. Doesn't mean you can easily stop him, but point being is you cannot expect him to go take out the entire Cloud9 roster in a triple kill / killing spree / 7 kill spree.
Or Dave, maybe you can. He's done it once already. In the first 2 minutes of the game, he does. But you have to think Cloud9 are able to weather the storm. What can we see from them as far as the response is concerned? The battle for FaZe's tree. Nick's going to hold this one down. He's expecting to push from the trenches. He's got something on a death cam. It's Eco Smith. It's Penguin. A rocket narrowly takes his life. He is knocked to no shield, but that's actually a wasted rocket because King Nick able to stay alive, get back to his base, and now this Cloud9 push is one rocket less and a little bit less successful and opportunistic without that power weapon in hand.
But FaZe are on the defensive. If they die and have too many players drop here, this could be a flag grab, and I'm wondering who's grabbing it. There it is.
Yep.
Penguin already pushing out towards market to escort, knows that someone's in bomb center, but gets taken out himself. This is pretty much even footing. Eco wisely backs down all the way into FaZe base, already sniffed out, and this is going to be a flag stop. Cloud9 cannot contest this flag anymore.
That kill on the Sparty needed to happen from Penguin. Did not happen. It was a great job by Sparty to stay alive, turn the corner, make it difficult for Penguin to try and finish him off. Because Spartan gets that kill, that flag is stopped. A phenomenal defensive stand from FaZe to keep this at a 1-0 lead for now.
And we do have Overshield in the hands of FaZe. They're making a push in, but Sparty McFlying a little too fast over there. Doesn't matter, you got Renegade, and I guess if the flag's not gonna move as fast enough with his teammates, he's just gonna do it himself, and he has this flag moving all the way through the market. I don't see anyone from Cloud9 that's gonna be able to lay some damage here during this moment. So instead, he's gonna take her all the way to front door, and this might be the second cap for FaZe. I expected a little more resistance, but I guess not. FaZe puts the second flag on the scoreboard.
Unbelievable job there. They cut off the overextenders through shotgun. They got just the 2 kills they needed. The rest of Cloud9 was spawning way back in their thrust, and because of that, they could not catch up to Renegade as he got it through that double doors using the last bit of that overshield, and it really was overshield that allowed Renegade to flawlessly get that flag on the move. And now if Cloud9 want to gain the lead in this series, if they want to come back in this game, they have so much work to do. 7 minutes to do it, which sounds like plenty of time, Dave, but as the clock continues to tick, Bizarre CTF, we all know, can end at a 2-0 scoreline.
Yes, that is absolutely true. That does feel like playing time, but the real pivotal moment's going to happen in 40 seconds clutch, as the Rockets and the Overshield are both coming up at that 6-minute mark. Cloud9 really needs to do that. They need to get those weapons, those power-ups, and translate it into a cap, because other than that, they're going to have to somehow win throughout this neutral game, and that has not been faring well with them so far.
Completely agree. And as we take a look, the game starts to slow down here. Kills just about even. But the objective, the efficiency from FaZe, it's got to speak volumes with their ability to stay with Cloud9 in some of these objective game types. The push out a tree from FaZe is too much for Penguin. Eco goes down as well. And a successful battle for the middle of the map by FaZe is one. It's a 1v1 now. Falcated versus Penguin, and I believe Falcated is coming off spawn, so it's actually Stellar who has the rockets and can't quite get the overshield, and that's a massive blunder. You want to be able to stay alive, but that overshield's still down, still the battle underway as multiple players from each team trying to compete. It is FaZe that come out on top, and if you get the overshield, you have to think there's a pair of rockets down there to pair with it.
Yeah, and I don't know if FaZe are aware of that because we don't see it in their hands just yet, but somehow FaZe walking away with both of those weapons. There it is.
There we go.
Overshield and rockets going to hand to FaZe. Clutch and I were calling it before, saying Cloud9 needed those to turn into a cap. They better hope that FaZe aren't going to be able to take control of this map and get a third cap of their own.
And each one of these kills is another death timer. Reset the clock now at 5 minutes, Dave. I'm going to remind you every couple minutes, this clock going to continue to dwindle down. Cloud9 needs to figure out a way to make this within striking distance before it gets too low, because it's so difficult to try and capture 2 flags with the final moments of a bizarre CTF ticking down, and right now Renegade has no plan on the offensive side. He wants to just withstand any opportunity Cloud9 can try and find to get out of their base.
You're right. They are going to have to get this next set of rockets, this overshield, break out of their base. Or the second option, which seems a little more difficult, is breaking the time continuum. You're going to have to find some way to either go back in time or bend time. I've heard people use those words in Marvel movies and such.
If they do that, can they go back and force me to play the ball while we're at it? Because I've been really working hard on trying to invent that myself, but still no luck for me.
No luck on that one indeed, but here we are 15 seconds away from the new overshield coming up, and Renegade's already in great position for it. Not just that, he has the sizzle sticks, he has those dynamo grenades, and look how much damage it's laying out on those players at Cloud9. Assist after assist. Looks like he's gonna grapple the OS to himself, and all 4 members of Cloud9 are out.
And that just goes to show you how great of a job FaZe are doing right now. It's scavenging around the map, controlling the map, and setting up for the overshield. It was a beautiful job just to back up. Renegade didn't even shoot his gun. He gets 2 players and no shield with those dynamo grenades. And now that Renegade has that overshield, he's able to be aggressive. Bulldog shotgun in hand. 3 were down for Cloud9. Make it all 4. Flag on the move. And if they cap this one, Dave, you can best believe FaZe Clan will take the lead in this series.
Renegade also just putting on this superstar performance. I was looking at the kill feed. He takes out EcoSmith again. He has 20 kills on the board. Beginning of this year, I was highlighting Frosty, Renegade, and Lucid as the 3 top players in the game, and Renegade really showing up when his team needs him the most.
Doing it all right now. King Nick not too far behind him though. 16, 6, and 11. A nice flag run there from King Nick as he tries to relocate to the middle of the map right now. Knows, hey, as long as we're able to deny these rockets, that would be a massive plus with under 3 minutes. They're trying to defend Cloud9 from scoring 3 flag caps, and as those rockets get wasted there onto a kill, it's traded out immediately, and they're not creating the power curve that Cloud9 need. And as multiple members feel the desperation moment from Cloud9 to try and push, Renegade backs them all up.
Look at all those awareness, or those moments of awareness from Renegade. Not only does he realize that he can still rotate back and do some damage as he's going into the palm to help his teammates or finish off that weak player, he throws that spike grenade over on the catwalk, being aware that someone could push there from closet into the BR. So it's just those little moments that even as he's crossing somewhere else, he's like, here's where I can do extra damage, here's where I can do extra damage, here's where I can spot something out. Just perfect efficiency from Renegade.
We always talk about objective efficiency, where there's damage efficiency as well, and Renegade making the most of every moment so far here in this game, giving FaZe Clan every advantage they need. 23, 7, and 9 against this Cloud9 roster. Renegade proving that he has showed up to compete against his old team, and he wants this one back.
He found someone, and he wants that person down. Look at this. He knows they only have one way out, and it's going to be towards his base. He gets the perfect 4-shot on his previous teammate, Stellar, and he's not done yet. He knows someone else is nearby, but somehow Guest did not spot that player out jumping over towards his BR. So he knows. I figured he knew they were nearby, but I don't know why he stopped looking over there.
Well, I think he knew even if he engaged in that fight, all he was going to do was lose his overshield. So he relocates now on a killing spree with the rest of that overshield. That player does get the return on the fight that was being ran, but Renegade smart enough to understand, even if I get this player no shield, I'm just going to end up having to chase him. But Renegade absolutely popping off now with 27 to his name. 27, 7, and 9, ladies and gentlemen. Probably the best individual performance we have seen in the highest level of Halo against his old roster when they need him the most to take the lead in this series. Renegade gives them everything.
Renegade just absolutely going off, and I mean, they know this game's over at this point. You know, right now, Renegade's kind of looking for any sort of free kills, just hopping around.
The observer's eating
Cloud9 almost, Cloud9's even like, all right, do we want to, you know, inflate his ego anymore, give him any more kills? But looks like everyone's kind of really content with being more of a standoff position. Looks like Bound, as usual, is going to break the silence, make a push out, but Renegade says, I'll get to that 30 kill mark shortly, and I'll take that free kill. Thank you, Bound.
Eco. And what looked to be the sign of the truce. FaZe want no truce in this one. They want to find themselves in that winner's bracket finals, and now just one game away as the clock ticks down to 0 here.
Look at this, just like basically saying, hey, don't cross this 30-yard line. See this line on the ground? Don't cross it.
Stop playing, don't shoot. Maybe strategize for game 4. You're going to need it as FaZe Clan Looks very dominant, very similar to what they did online. It transfers over to LAN almost flawlessly. And FaZe Clan now with a lot of momentum. We were wondering how good this team was going to be, right? We saw them starting to have success online. We saw them perform at a very high level. They fell short to Optic Gaming, but that's no slouch. And honestly, your first real big series as a team at a LAN, I mean, you go to game 5 with Optic, you lose by 4. It seems like they've been able to recover, and maybe this is the best of FaZe we've seen yet.
Yes, absolutely. This is by far the best FaZe we've seen thus far, result-wise, just the way that they're playing so cohesively. Every single way, shape, and form, this is the best FaZe Halo we've seen this year.
I'm hearing "Let's Go Cloud9" chants in my ear, which means the fans, they're still here. It's late. But Cloud9 fans, they're loyal. You know they are. They want this to go to a game 5 now. If Cloud9 want any chance to stay in this series, they're gonna have to win game 4. But as we take a look at the stats, Stellar once again not the shiniest star of the series, but I mean, when Renegade's going off like he is, it's so difficult to try and do anything.
Yeah, I mean, you take the 2 highest kill counts on Cloud9, it's 31 kills between Bound and Eco combined.
That's just about what he has.
Just shy of what, you know, just a little above what Renegade had. So what a statement, what a dominating performance. Looking at the series layout, didn't really play out how I expected. I was expecting sort of these faster game modes to really favor FaZe or give them a stronger chance, but it feels like fast, slow, whatever. FaZe are comfortable taking games number 2 and games number 3 to take a 2-1 lead in this series.
All right, Cloud9, what can you show us? What can you do to get us to a game 5? It's going to have to be on the streets. It's oddball. And I actually think this is one of Cloud9's best game types. They have so much success, I feel like, at tournaments. Because of how fast-paced they play. You say fast-paced might benefit FaZe. I'd have to argue that when Cloud9 get all 4 dead, when they find that perfect situation, they're the best team in the game at pressuring spawns. They have the best team at pushing their advantages when they can get it. The big question is can they get those advantages? Because last game on Bazaar, it was all FaZe all the time, and it was too much for Cloud9 to deal with.
Yeah, it really was just too much. And on one hand, I want to be like, hey, maybe Cloud9 need to make sure they shut down Renegade at some points, but it's not even just that. Like you were saying earlier on in that Bazaar CTF, King Nick was just trailing behind Renegade in kills. So at some point, if you get 2 tunnel vision on someone like Renegade, who's so slippery, you are just going to get punished and shot from all angles.
Absolutely. The important thing right now is the opening break, the battle for these rockets. You can see how prioritized FaZe is focused on those. 3 members were front tower there momentarily as King Nick rips Bound with the commando there, helps Falcated stay alive here. And as those rockets are still neutral in the middle of the map, Falcated's going to try and make his way there, but he's knocked to no shield. Can he get into tires? Can he stay alive is the big question now. A couple of kills from FaZe are going to release any pressure he would have felt. Now Falcated with rockets back to full shield. He's got an opportunity to blow this game wide open and get FaZe off to an early lead.
Yeah, Falcated right there, either hearing the footsteps or just being aware that someone could spawn over towards PD, just wisely just doing a little rotation outside tires and going back in because he is the #1 target on the map then when he's one shot with rockets in the tires.
Doesn't expect this player to be top rails, and you never want to be the first player dead when your team has a full setup, and Falcated, unfortunately, because he got caught off guard, he's going to be the first one to go down. A kill is traded out onto Bound, though, however, and we're going to see how long this FaZe Clan ball setup can last, and back and forth these kills go, but it's a 24-point lead at the very least for FaZe now.
24 points on the board. Pretty good with the setup there. Didn't feel like FaZe had like this amazing, strong, full setup like that was extended for too long.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that's a pretty good chunk of time given the circumstances.
Not over yet, though. Falcated's been able to rotate the ball towards the actual spawn of that off ball. Unfortunately, Bound flying at you with the heat wave. That's a difficult thing to try and deal with, and Bound does a good job to stop that time from getting too out of hand. 34 seconds is all they get, he says. Another player to no shield, the microwave.
Almost turned him to Sparty McFry there as he was destroying over on the Neon side, but Sparty, tough kill to get. Got all the shields back, staying alive, and there go another set of rockets in the hands of FaZe. Honestly, it feels like when it comes to these power-ups and power-ups coming up, FaZe have been getting the majority when I'm looking at Recharge and Bazaar and now Streets.
Yeah, FaZe have done such a good job to do that scavenging, sort of set up for some of these power weapons and prioritize that And right now, they've done a great job of rotating the oddball as well. This oddball has gone from Ivy back to shotgun into the ball spawn, and now back into the back of Tram. And this is a phenomenal job by FaZe this entire time to really dictate where this game is going to be played.
Look at this, staying all the way back to Trim. Honestly, a pretty unorthodox spot there since you're exposed towards bomb center, but obviously it's working out very well for Nick there. I would love to hear his logic as to why that spot versus a couple other areas like back Ivy or towards back Commando.
This is the big push from Cloud9. They break the setup, 3 go down. Penguin with ball in hand now starting to chip away at the 55 unanswered points that FaZe Clan were able to award themselves.
And look at Cloud9 not treating it defensively. Yeah. They are going straight on the offense, creating a path from B Street over towards PD. So expect this ball to start rotating that way, and that's exactly what's happening. Penguin rotating over towards the Commando, but it looks like the damage is done. Somehow that 3-person push from Cloud9 just gets shut down on the street. A bit surprising. They had numbers advantage.
It's a known strategy from Cloud9. I tried to say it earlier before the game started, right? But they like to push their advantages. They're not the kind of team that sits back and says like, hey, they're spawning over here, they're going over here. No, they're gonna try and keep you continuously one player down at all times. They want that number advantage, and they want to rotate the ball towards the openings that they create. Unfortunately, no openings were created there for Cloud9. The ball gets stalled. It is a 30-point differential right now in the game, and Cloud9's setup looks like it's going to be much more difficult to hold now that rockets are coming up, and you know that FaZe Clan are going to prioritize those.
Yep, we've seen it time and time again. As soon as those weapons come up, they've
ball
been...
resets, though.
Yeah, I guess hasn't been touched in that long, so looks like it's going to be a neutral ball scenario. Found the first one to go down. That is a big, big deal, but also Falcade, so we're back on even numbers. Renegade grabbing the ball, bringing it back over towards A. We're going to have to see if we can get all the way over there, and it looks like he's safe. Scrapping some time up. What the? Like, what's going on over there in PD? But looks like Renegade's going in to clean up his old 2 teammates. Bound takes them out. And that's going to be all 4 down for FaZe Clan. When this moment in time happened, FaZe were up by 40 points. Let's see how much Cloud9 puts on the board.
Let's see how Cloud9 plays it this time around, because last time we saw how aggressive they wanted to push their advantages, their map control right there. It was unsuccessful, but this time around, Penguin in the kill feed finds a double. Stellar and Eco find the other 2, and it's up to Renegade coming off spawn to try and stay alive. And Cloud9, they want to deny Renegade from staying alive because they will then be able to play another 4v3 situation on the respawners.
Renegade taking out 4 Eco 1v1 due to the aggression of Cloud9, and then unfortunately, I would say a bad position with that ball. Bound gets taken out in front A courtyard.
But the dream there is you kill Renegade and you create some space for the ball carrier to rotate too. You see the plan from Cloud9, but when Renegade gets that kill, that space is not available and the ball carrier gets exposed.
Makes total sense. They are reliant so much on their teammates being able to get those kills. But as we kind of break down that full setup time, Cloud9 closed that gap. They got approximately 30 points during that whole exchange, which is huge. But now they're back on the back foot. Unfortunately, during that rotation, they gave the ball, left it over towards PD. They weren't able to get some sort of play ball. They weren't able to keep more players on the map, and they're just falling player after player. That's 3 down again for Cloud9.
Good God, King Nick. Great shots, 4 down Cloud9. FaZe Clan hold on to this ball, and now with 15 points is all they need. Rockets in the hands of Spartan. They have everything calculated in order to win round 1 here of our game 4.
And it's just looking so strong for them. That's so much damage. Gets another shot onto the C stairs, but ball in the hands of Stellar. We're gonna see if they go for this tram step. This can be so deadly. They get it, and I don't see any resistance stopping Stellar. Stellar's gonna bring us back towards Ivy. And are we gonna see Cloud9 actually turtle up and hold this for a moment? Looks like Bound didn't get the memo as he's the first one picked off. FaZe Clan have a 4v3. They know the players are in tram and they're not stopping. Spartan goes in towards bomb tram, gets the perfect over on Penguin. Stellar trading out with King Nick, and it is going to be these spawners that are not going to be able to reinforce right away. So these players are kind of in the fight of their own. Bound versus Falcade. Who's going to win this fight? It's going to be a trade. Everyone goes down in tram.
Nick is here, though, to get the last 6 seconds. That's all he wants to do in the back of Tram. He's able to get the ball, throws it to his teammate. Renegade's trying to get the last couple of seconds. 97 is all he gets. He's taken down. Cloud9 are here. There's plenty of time, but you need the slays. They got 2 in their advantage as of yet, but there's more to do on the side of Cloud9. They want to get this player down in red room, but right now you need ball time.
Yeah, and Cloud9 feel like they're going to create this opening in B Street, but they don't realize how many members of FaZe are over on B. They're walking into a trap there. Luckily, Bound getting a kill over near Ivy, but Penguin cannot rotate this ball over towards mid-tram and meet up with Bound. They have 2 individual plays right here, and they both get taken out. That's Renegade scooping up the ball, hiding in the center tram like most unaware people that walk by in the subway, and blocking everything, getting those last few seconds.
What a play by Renegade there. Off screen as we switch to it. He gets a double, takes down not only Bound, but the ball carrier as well, wins his team that round, and that was one where Cloud9 had to come back from such a large deficit. If you're Cloud9 and you can get a nice start, Dave, what does that do to your opportunity here to push this to a 3rd round? I
mean, they've been continually off the back foot, I would say, every single game. Yeah. Even on the very start there, live fire strongholds.
Yeah.
They were on the back foot. So it would be nice to not have to dig yourselves in a hole that you have to get out of. Instead, get to a strong start, get that first rockets, get the first ball rotation in your favor. I don't know what it is about the starts. Maybe they have a spy on the other side, some sort of double agent that's looking through and saying, hey, here's what Cloud9 does off the beginning. Here's what we've been doing for the most part.
Well, if we were hopeful that Cloud9 was going to get off to a decent start here in round 2, I'm sorry. But it looks like it's been all FaZe Clan here early on. The ball in the back of Tram. Spartan going on an absolute terror. King Nick dropped 2 players to no shield with just 1 rocket. And when you're able to do that, the damage efficiency with the power weapons become immense. And they're just showing up in the score now. 30 points and counting for FaZe Clan early in round 2.
Look at that. Nick just playing so well near those B stairs. Eventually gets taken out. Renegade with the perfect protection here. Whether somebody is near or far, he has the perfect weapon to help this out, but is taken out. Not as much damage you expect with that Stalker / Bulldog combo. 1v1, Falcated versus Bound. Falcated comes out ahead, and they are still keeping control of this tram. Look at how much Falcated is making these players chase him around.
Yeah, and he gets his shield back. More importantly, the thrust back doesn't allow that player to keep him weak, and because he gets his shield back, he now has an advantage. Penguin does get a double, but is it enough to try and get some ball time? Because desperately you want to see Cloud9 get back into this. Bound's able to get that ball back in the tram. Great job there to finish that kill, to make sure you continue the numbers advantage that you have. But unfortunately, Bound goes down somehow to grenades, and Eco goes down as well. So any opportunity at a setup, Cloud9 loses.
And just like that, look at those players trying to finish off Stellar. Falcated gets the kill, but I believe that's a team grenade, and that is not what you want during one of those desperate times. You need to be very careful on who you're hitting with those explosives.
Especially when rockets are coming out. Bound was able to find rockets, and what feels like for the first time Cloud9 get rockets. What do you know? They get a couple of kills. They have the ball. They're starting to chip away at this lead. They should be able to make this a very close game by the time FaZe Clan can come off spawn, because that is a very recent 3 down.
One thing I've been noticing also throughout these match times is there are a lot of these great pushes from both sides as they're all team-oriented. But then, as soon as those great pushes happen through, a lot of small segmented battles kind of take part on different areas, and it just ends up being kind of these small little brawls back and forth, like this small little fight in tires, as you saw right there. So all these teams are kind of playing this mix of like this great team game / free-for-all that goes in through those chaotic times.
What a big kill by Bound there. He patiently plays the situation, although Spartan goes in for the melee. The perfect damage with the commando met with the melee allows him to get that kill, extends a little bit of space for his ball carrier to get this over to B. And now, although it's neutralized, Cloud9 are competitively playing for this space right now, and if they can win this combat loop, they can continue to rack up some points. They're going to need a massive play out of Bound once again, though.
Looks like Renegade pushing over towards B Street. Going to see Renegade versus Bound 2v1. He's run away, grabbing that Bulldog, and just buying time. So many times we're seeing them successfully get away, where the Cloud9 members, you know they want to hunt him down. They're calling out Renegade right now, and they eventually get him. But was it too much attention? We'll find out as these subsequent kills unfold.
15 seconds for Rockets, the ball carrier. He goes down towards PD, but Eco, he wants to pressure Tram. He finds one, has King Nick dead to rights, finds a double. 3 go down. Last guy alive is Renegade top spikes. And if you're Cloud9, you should be able to get these rockets doesn't seem like anyone's in a position. Actually, they picked them up as Renegade makes his way towards the cafe, and Penguin knows he's there. So you got to figure out where Renegade is. Wasted rockets on the side of Penguin.
And Renegade's still alive. Gets the kill over towards top tower. Just in their heads, just pushing on through. Did not relent, maybe not being super obvious on things that we would do in the past. Renegade just on a charge.
Renegade creating the space for the rest of FaZe Clan to find some success. In the meantime, they've been able to find the ball as well. But take a look at the score, Dave. They find themselves now down here in round 2. It's been a phenomenal comeback story from Cloud9. A couple of sets of rockets go in their hands, and at least you're not getting blown up. So even though Penguin wastes the rockets, it's a completely different story than, what? King Nick getting a free double with 1?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Better to use the rockets on your own accord, even if they're not as efficient, versus them being in the hands of FaZe continually. So we're going to have to see now as we go to this next round of slays. Both these teams, anytime it's a neutral position, they are really prioritizing these slays. There's been so many moments where it's just slays back and forth, wait to see who comes ahead, and then the team that comes ahead scoops up the time, just like we see Stellar right now.
What a massive win from Cloud9 there. The last 2 players of Cloud9 are able to get the ball, bring it back to PD, but more importantly, acquire time while doing so. It is now the first significant lead here in oddball for Cloud9.
Sorry to cut you off, but there was such a great crossfire there from Eco and Penguin. Penguin was looking all the way towards Arcade, watching past tires.
We heard him.
Eco was looking over towards C stairs. They both had this kind of diagonal crossfire forming an X where no members of FaZe Clan were going to be able to sneak on either side past them.
X going to give it to you as Cloud9 tries to rotate that ball to Tram. It was an entire rotation of the map from Cloud9 actually with that off ball. Unfortunately, it does get cut off by the shotgun area. And FaZe Clan are able to get that ball secured in the back of Tram, trying to create a comeback now. FaZe trying to end the series. 58 points and climbing. They need 20 more as they try to compete for rockets. Great damage from Spartan here with the Stalker, but it's not enough. Penguin once again wasting a rocket, though.
FaZe are going to push this. They had too many players weak there over near the ATM. They know that rockets are down, and there it is. Renegade swooping in from the tires. Gets the kill, gets the trade. It's 2v2 now, and Spartan is trying to find where these players are pushing from. And perfect 3-shot from Sparty McFly. They know the last one is also over at back commando, somehow hitting a perfect commando shot.
How much talent do these kids have? It's absolutely unreal how good they are at shooting their guns here today on the main stage. And Cloud9, FaZe Clan, 2 of the best individual teams in the world right now going at it, but Bound with the ball in hand. 14 points to go is all Cloud9 need to do to push this to a round 3. They're able to take down that Stalker rifle player, and that's a massive kill from Bound.
Trade be trade, but here we go. That's going to be Stellar, the only one alive on the map. Scooping up this time. As long as these spawns don't get negatively influenced, I feel like we can't even see a member of FaZe get all the way across the map to even stop Stellar, and that's what we're seeing at this moment. No one can make up C stairs, and we got ourselves a game, Wes.
Got ourselves a game, got ourselves a round 3. Cloud9 fans still here, still getting loud. They still believe. Do the Cloud9 players believe they can get this to a game 5 is the question. Of great start would phenomenally upgrade their chances in order to get there. We've seen how successful FaZe are off the opening break, and as Renegade has made his way to the ball without being touched, starts to get shot, but that ball, it's already back tower.
Look at that. He gets the ball back tower, but this time FaZe has 2 members drop. Here comes Bound. Bound is whooping behind, but he has the Bulldog and he has that shield, and looks like we may have had some sort of either observer issue or server issue, so we'll find out what's going on here in just a moment. That this is not a full reset. FaZe has a 4-second lead going into this. So what's going to happen here in this one round of oddball is Cloud9 needs to get 100 points before FaZe gets to 96.
Let's hope it didn't come down to 4 seconds, because that's going to be a headache for me to try and drive through and communicate to you guys. I'm probably going to get it wrong. I'll just be honest. Dave, you're calling the shots at the end of the game, but for now, let's get back into the game. It's round 3. This one either pushes us to a game 5 here for the top 3 finish for these teams, or one team is getting sent to the elimination bracket a little bit earlier than expected on the side of Cloud9.
Last time starting on these sides, FaZe were able to grab that ball right away, bring it back towards top tower. They don't opt for that same strategy again just yet. Instead, both these teams kind of hold their own sides, and somehow Cloud9 allows FaZe to get away with that ball again, bring it towards back A tower.
Well, this is interesting. Sparty's trying to keep this ball in a relatively close area so that he can help his team compete for rockets. Is that going to be the right play, however? As Falcated somehow isn't spotted by Penguin up in heaven, he is eventually taken down by Eco as there's some perfect shots onto Penguin, but kills traded across the board. The ball being rotated back to Ivy, and what a phenomenal rotation of the ball there from FaZe.
Yeah, all the way from one power position to the other. Eco taken out at the ATMs. We got Sparty in the back of Tram, and this is looking dire here for Cloud9. They do not want to put themselves in a position where FaZe are one good step away from win this game. So they need to stop this ball, and they need to stop it now.
We saw how good Sparty was in the earlier rounds with the Stalker rifle. You know he wants to get his shield back and start to impact this push from Cloud9. The first kill is going to be from Renegade. It's answered by Penguin, though, and as this push continues to come through, Sparty's got to make his mark. Unfortunately, the first kill is just not enough. The Cloud9 push is a successful one. Stellar now trying to figure out where the best location to be with this ball is, and it is going to be Tram as they get the final kill onto Falcated. They're able to flip the map completely, and Cloud9 stopped the bleeding at just 37 points.
And Bound looking over towards ATM, getting some shots down, but he knows no one's on stairs. That's why he doesn't have to check the angle. He has his teammates over at the B rails, and here comes the rotation from FaZe. They know that as long as someone's on B rails, they cannot go up C stairs. They opt to push on over towards B simultaneously while they send someone through neons.
Rockets are coming up. Falcated and a couple of members from FaZe are going to be the ones that prioritize those, position themselves, but in the meantime, 3 go down. Falcated is not near his rocket player anymore, and right now Cloud9 are going to be able to go and swoop in, pick those rockets up. They lead Falcated back towards Shotgun and say, I'm going to pick up these rockets. An intelligent play by Eco, and now let's see what he can do now that he's acquired the rockets in his hand.
Yeah, smart heads up play by Eco, just understand that Falcated last one alive, and when you have numbers advantage, you do not over challenge. In fact, he decided to run down towards bombs there to grab those rockets because he knew no one else from FaZe could stop him. They were going to spawn over in PD.
Ever since then, though, FaZe Clan have come off respawn. They've been able to get the kills they needed. Those rockets, not enough to give Cloud9 any sort of advantage. The ball rotated right back into Tram, and look at this. 54 to 38 and counting, and don't forget the extra 4 points that FaZe Clan have.
Yep, just 4 more points closer to victory, and look at this, half of the FaZe team just sitting here in this hallway and falls right into the trap. King Nick takes out Bound. Bound answers with a grenade of his own, and this ball's rotating through B, but gets stopped by Penguin. This could be Cloud9's chance to get a kill and put some time on the board, but kills just get traded back and forth.
Penguin does everything he can there. He takes down 3 players, but unfortunately the ball is just in a neutralized position that is going to allow respawners from FaZe to try and compete for right here on the pillars. And FaZe Clan now with a fairly significant lead. They understand they don't have to really feel pressure of that ball being in that terrible spot. Renegade tries to maybe rotate around the map, get a flank going, but it is sniffed out. He's knocked to no shield. He's got the Bulldog in hand, and now that he's got his shield back, look for him to make his mark.
Look at this flank. Gets sniffed out, gets a 2-shot melee from that stock rifle. Bound getting a kill of his own on Sparty, and this is numbers advantage for Cloud9, and they know where the last 2 players are at. So Cloud9 have an opportunity to flank those, grab the ball, and reposition to anywhere they'd like.
These kills right here are going to be the ones that could keep Cloud9 in this series. Rockets are coming up, and they need to find a way to get slays. King Nick's the first one to go down. It's traded by Bound, and we're going to see who it is that's able to achieve these rockets. Sparty with a double in the feed makes it all 4 down for Cloud9. The ball is going to be in hand, but more importantly, the rockets are going to be in the hands of FaZe as well.
And just a little juggling act there between Bound and Renegade. He says, no, you keep the gun in your hand. I've seen what you're capable of, and you are going to just be 3-shot people. Look at that. Takes out Bound, takes out Eco, and that is 2 members down for Cloud9. FaZe still putting points on the board. They are 7 seconds away from closing out this game and series.
All they need to do is solidify these last couple seconds. Sparty turns the corner with the ball, and he's gonna do it here with 1 more second.
That's it.
FaZe have done it. They create the upset 3-1 over Cloud9. Renegade beats his own team, and right now FaZe look like an absolute juggernaut of a team that can very well take this whole tournament.
Yeah, I mean, they guarantee themselves top 3. They're looking so incredibly strong. I mean, there's just not enough good things you can say about them.
Yeah. I mean, the individual performances across the board and the teamwork, the efficiency and the objective is not something I thought we would see from this FaZe team. Yeah. The rotations of the oddball are genius. They are playing at such a high level with these objective plays. Even on Bizarre CTF, how successful and efficient they were with those flags. I mean, FaZe Clan, we knew how strong of individual slayers that this squad was going to be, right? You get Renegade, Falcated, and Spartan all on the same team. You throw a King Nick in there, and you're like, yeah, that has a lot of individual skill on it. But the fact that they can play objectives the way that they are, I mean, that's absolutely phenomenal. This is world-class Halo at its finest.
I cannot wait to see what they do the rest of this event. I think many people knew FaZe were capable of getting this far, but to actually see it in motion here at this event is something different and something special.
Well, Dave, we saw what happened in pool play. FaZe Clan went down to Optic Gaming in a Game 5, 50-46 on Aquarius Slayer. They haven't looked back since. In fact, they look even better. And guess what? The winners bracket finals, it's a rematch. Optic Gaming are going to be playing against FaZe as we take a look at the championship bracket.